Welcome back to the Fort Johnson podcast, where we dive deep into the stories, events, and initiatives that matter most to our military community. I'm your host, and it's an honor to have you with us today. August is a significant month for us all because it's Anti-Terrorism Month, a time dedicated to raising awareness, enhancing preparedness, and reinforcing the importance of vigilance in the face of ever-evolving threats. Terrorism, in its many forms, seeks to undermine our way of life, disrupt our communities, and create fear. But here at Fort Johnson and across the nation, we stand united against those who would seek to harm us. This month is all about education, preparation, and community action, key elements in the fight against terrorism. In today's episode, we'll be talking with experts who will shed light on the latest strategies in anti-terrorism, share practical tips on how each of us can contribute to the safety of our communities, and discuss how we can stay resilient in the face of these challenges. So, whether you're on base, at home, or listening on the go, stay tuned as we explore the importance of Anti-Terrorism Month and what it means for us all. Let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching our podcast. I'm your host, Jeff England, and today we have special guests from DPTMS and Anti-Terrorism Office for our show here at the Fort Johnson Podcast Studios. Today, over to my right, we've got Mark Leslie, Chief of DPTMS, Department Plans, Terrorism Maintenance.
How many years you been doing this?
I don't know. It's been a long time. All these, I still don't even know what S1, G1, G3, RSVP, all of those things. I don't know any of those. Just, you're in that office over there.
Director of Plans, Training, Mobilization.
Oh, it's training. So where's the terrorism thing come in?
It's part of security.
Oh, it's security. Okay, gotcha. And over to my left, I've got Mitchell Smith. He's an anti-terrorism officer. And Adam Lynn, another anti-terrorism officer, keeping us safe. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Great to have you guys in here. I am so happy. It depends on when you're watching the show. So, August, how long has August been Anti-Terrorism Month? I mean, it can't go back to like the 1200s, but it's been a while, huh? Was it the first question right out the gate that I got y'all?
No.
Oh, okay.
The inception of Anti-Terrorism Month, it came in around 2010. Started a lot of terrorism activities going around across the country. So, Office of the Provost Marshal General decided to implement the Anti-Terrorism Awareness Month program. So the inception came around about 2010, and it's been going on since.
And it comes around every August and
every August, 1 through 31 August.
So do we have special classes and special events going on for anti-terrorism? I mean, I figure we're not going to be throwing on a big old festival or anything that would put a whole bunch of soft targets up.
No, we're just out there to educate and aware the community on about suspicious activity that goes on across the community and how to report them, throughout the month.
Gotcha. So, right off the bat, what's the first thing that we should do to combat anti-terrorism? Some of the most simple things that should be second nature to us.
So the Army's campaign is see something, say something. So do just that, report it. Typically, if you see something suspicious, it probably is. So just trust your gut and report it. And the easiest way to do that, if you can't remember 531 COPS, which is the best way and easiest way because it calls local DES police.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like too hard to remember.
No, it should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
But sometimes people get a little flustered, and so just call 911, and they'll turn it over to a non-emergency, and they'll get that information from you, and then follow through and make sure that it's nothing, or if it is something that they resolve it.
Now that see something, say something. I've actually participated in that because I was going out one of the gates and I saw somebody had pulled over like right before the gate, and they were just sitting on the side of the road. And I looked as I drove by, and I was coming to the gate, and it's like, so I let the guards know, and they went over, investigated it. I think he was trying to find some paperwork or something. But hey, better safe than sorry, you know.
Absolutely. I think just this week we had someone that reported a suspicious package over near the bowling center, and it turned out to be nothing. But people have reported stuff even locally here on Fort Johnson in the past, and it has turned out to be something. There's been, I forget what year, Mitch, maybe 2017, the chlorine bomb.
Yes, the chlorine bomb. Actually, they had a soldier out in the training area making chlorine bombs. Two individuals saw this person and reported it to our local DES, and an investigation followed up to where we ended up catching the guy, and he's now serving in prison.
Well, that could have turned out to be something horrible. I'm glad we got that in time, or at least close enough to tell you. Somebody see something, say something, and they got it.
Wasn't for the two individuals that reported that, something tragically could have happened to the installation.
Absolutely.
So we depend on the community as our eyes and ears. We don't see it all, so we depend on the community to be.
Yeah,
there's a
lot of great sophisticated sensors out there. We have all kinds of devices to help us detect stuff, but really the best sensor is a human, right?
Yeah.
And all the community is our sensor to determine if something's wrong. So, like Mitch and Adam said, if something doesn't look right, it's probably not right. Report it and let us know. Like Mitch was talking about that example with the chemical bomber. Those soldiers out there, they were just doing their job, doing some land nav and came across something was wrong. They reported it, and they probably prevented something really tragic that day. So
yeah, I don't understand why people would even want to do this, but hey, I guess it's not my part to reason. But have there been new styles or new threats that have come up recently that things are changing because the world's ever changing like that? Is there are you seeing things that we should be paying more attention to nowadays?
No, the threat is ever changing. So folks have their own ideologies and beliefs and what they believe in, and try to act upon it. And that's why I go back to saying, if you see something, say something. What we call don't be a bystander. Okay, activity that makes you feel uncomfortable. Report it. It's the safest way.
Gotcha.
I would say threats are probably getting a little more sophisticated. And so the criminal terror nexus is probably a little more solid than it has been in the past. So criminal activity crossing over into terrorist activity, the nexus is there more. So, there's a little more cybercrime, a little more spyware, a little more something where the criminal activity crosses over into the terrorist activity. The nexus is there a little more. So people have to be aware of that all the time of cybercrime. There could be a nexus to terrorist activity.
Yeah, cyber terrorism, I don't like that at all. The whole, not even it partially hacking and partially holding you hostage kind of thing, where they can hack into your system through spyware, malware, and then get stuff on you and then hold you hostage, basically saying you're going to do this for me, or I'm going to release these photos. I'm gonna do this or something. A
couple of local hospitals and school boards here in the state have been victim of that this past year.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Especially the hospitals, they hack into the power or something, and a lot of people can be hurt with that.
Right. We also have to look at the insider threat as well. One who has access and opportunity, to do harm within their organization.
And that's actually happened before. So
that's an ongoing threat.
Yeah. So What if I was to look at some people that I work with? Speaking of the insider threat, if I was to see somebody that's a normal Joe, and then all of a sudden he starts he gets a really expensive brand new car, or he's going on big expensive trips to foreign countries, and all of a sudden he's acting slightly different. He was disgruntled, now he's a little happier, or whatever, or the vice versa. Are these signs that you should be watching for, or what kind of signs should be watching for these insider threats?
Yeah, absolutely. It might be nothing, but it may be something. Having extra money, also extra time at work, so they're putting in longer hours, showing up early, staying late. Also, the possibility of trying to gain access to areas that they shouldn't be in, or different meetings that maybe they shouldn't be attending, different things as well. Anything that, again, looks suspicious, that's out of the ordinary, that, maybe you can approach the individual, but, with questions as to, where they got that money. Oh, I saw you went on a new trip or whatever. And it may be pretty easily explained, but it might not be. So I wouldn't probe too much. Leave that to law enforcement. But if it seems very suspicious to you, definitely report it.
Absolutely. What at the other people like the ones that are upset, disgruntled. Have you ever met a gruntled person? Just, they're always disgruntled. No one's ever gruntled. So have you ever heard of one of these people that are just disgruntled with everything they've got? They're always mad. They're mad at America. They're mad at the government. They're mad at their job. What recourse, should we take to see if somebody's like that, other than, digging into their things? You just see that they're doing something, that they're trying to get access to places, other than trying to probe them individually, say, hey, man, what's up with this? Why do you keep wanting to go into our top secret lair? And it has to be a lair. Can't be a den. Yeah.
Well, sometimes you hear that with just vets in general joking around, but once you start hearing threats, even though it might sound pretty idle, to where they might take action, you should definitely look more serious to that and look at possibly reporting it.
And there's also other avenues of reporting it, through your local MI intelligence folks. Again, DES, to your security officer, because they can also investigate and look into those things as to why that individual may be disgruntled.
And I'm sorry.
I was just going to add to that. So now everyone's a little bit more tech savvy, and everyone pretty much has a smartphone with them. So if you aren't wanting to call the numbers that we mentioned before, like 531 COPS, or call your 911. There's also 1-800-CALL-SPY, and there's free.
What was that last one?
1-800-CALL-SPY. So that one should be pretty.
1-800-CALL-SPY. That's a cool one. I like that.
So I think Mitch just mentioned Army Counterintelligence. So that's their number. And then there's just like the See Something, Say Something campaign. There's the See Send app that you can download for free. You can find it in the Apple store or Android stores. And then Army CID Tips is another app. And then there's the STEP system, but Mitch is very familiar with that. He has gone overseas and used it, and it's been pretty helpful to him in the past.
The STEP system.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with stairs, right?
It has nothing to do with stairs, but it's a great system. So if you're going overseas, we're always worried, and you have to get a travel brief if you're a Department of the Army civilian. And even if you're not, my daughter went overseas, and quite often, and I always advised her to enroll in the Safe Travel Enrollment Program. It's a program by the Department of State. And you can enroll in there, and it's free, and they'll advise you of anything going on in that country that's happening that could be any security violations or anything that may be happening there that could put you in harm. So they'll send you warnings on your phone or anything else, right? So
yeah, I've had personal experience with that, using that program. Anytime I travel, I go overseas every few years over to Europe.
You never bring me a souvenir.
You never asked. But anytime I travel, I enroll into that program. Well, one year while I was over there during the holidays, the Christmas market in Berlin, where a truck had plowed over into the Christmas market.
the ramming attacks.
Exactly, the ramming
that's
attacks.
horrible.
So at the same time, I was at a Christmas market in Mannheim. So I received a message on my phone because I was enrolled in that program that said that what's going on in Berlin. So I either had the choice of staying at the Christmas market and maybe something happening at that Christmas market. So I decided to leave with my family, just to get out of the area, just in case anything was going to happen.
Case.
Yeah. So my actually two personal experience while I was over there. So
That's crazy.
So the app is good to have anytime you're traveling overseas.
And that's what's the app called again?
The Safe Travel Enrollment Program.
Safe Travel Enrollment Program. Oh, that's where.
So you go to the State Department website, you can enroll in that, and you'll be in that program. When you're going overseas. So.
That's something I did not know. I learned something new.
Great program.
So that actually that sounds like something that could happen here, especially the election season, the election cycle, where there's going to be a lot of rallies and groups out there together. I could totally see bad people doing bad things during that. So does that work stateside also?
It doesn't work stateside.
So it's only overseas.
Yeah. One of the things that the AT office does, so we have AT month, and Mitch and Adam will talk the themes we have for AT month here in a second for each week. But anti-terrorism really is a 24/7, 365 job. It's not just in the month of August. But one of the things I asked the team to do is whenever we have, riots or protests and they're happening, especially in our region here, always ask the team to, brief this to the leadership of the garrison and provide that just for when people are traveling, they know where those are at so they can avoid those areas, especially in the Gulf Coast here, because, we all travel on the weekends or a long weekend, and they're not politically motivated. We don't care about politics. That's not our job. Our job is to make sure that our community is safe. And so regardless of the politics, whether there's a riot or a protest, these guys keep track of that. They inform our community. So when you're making a trip to Houston or Austin or Mississippi or wherever it may be, we track those protests. And so you can avoid those places with your family so you're not caught in the middle of that.
That's probably the safest way to be in during any emergency is to not be in that area.
That's right. So you can make that smart choice not to be in that area when you go there.
Yeah, that sounds like a better thing. So what are the themes for this year's Anti-Terrorism Month?
I don't think I
got them.
I got them.
Yep.
I got them. So week one, this week was nesting and anti-terrorism strategic initiatives and priorities. Next week will be risk management and standalone facilities. So that's all our facilities that are standalone, that operate by themselves. And then week 3 is anti-terrorism measures for operational forces. And then week 4, sustaining community awareness and vigilance.
So if we're risk management and sustainable facilities,
standalone facilities,
or the standalone facilities, would you say that a standalone facility is just like an office in its own building, or is it something that's not on post?
Those standalone facilities are I'll give you an example, recruiting stations, the Toledo Bend.
Okay, so they're the ones that are like
standalone facilities.
Remote, like a remote kind of office.
Correct.
Gotcha. So how would we best protect our standalone facilities? I know vigilance is the first thing.
Exactly, vigilance and awareness of that surrounding area. So,
Gotcha.
And we conduct weekly security checks too, where we drive around the installation. We're looking at kind of physical security aspects of stuff, where there's the fence lines are intact. There's no holes or anything that looks like someone tried to make a breach attempt. If buildings have security cameras, that the security cameras are in place and working. That if and just looking at other measures in general at the physical security aspect.
You ever wonder why trash cans aren't so close to the buildings? That's a security measure, right? So a device can be put in those trash cans that could that could be easily hidden, right? So that's one of those. That's the security measure, right? And that while those bollards are close, a ramming attack can't occur close to the building, right? So it keeps them standoff distance from the building, stuff like that.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now I know why the smoking sections are so far away from the buildings too.
That and you shouldn't smoke. Right? Get you a little exercise.
Get a little exercise.
Yeah, and when we go to the airfield as well, for example, that hangar doors aren't left open where there's easier access getting to the airfield and stuff. So, we just look at those physical security aspects and make sure that, people are able to maintain that so the building and the people are safer.
Okay, so if we're going to all stay vigilant, what's a terrorist look like?
It could look like you or me. It could look like
Hey.
We do have domestic terrorists. So it could be anybody. So there's not one stereotype that fits that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, especially nowadays, right? I mean, like you were talking about a disgruntled employee earlier, right? So a disgruntled employee could be a guy you've known forever. He's got some hidden agenda, and he could be mad that the world didn't work out, his life didn't work out the way he wanted to, and
he blames everybody but himself.
Everybody but himself. He's got opportunity to access, and he's been waiting for the right moment. He's gained trust, and now he's going to use that opportunity to access to exact revenge, right? Or take a toll. So that's why you wait for those behavior. You're not looking. It's not an individual. It's changes in behavior that you're looking for.
Yeah. So makes me think of Timothy McVeigh. I mean, ex-military, probably looks like a lot of us that are on the installation, either military or vets. That was the biggest domestic terrorist attack on the United States soil. That was prior to 9/11 and attack in general prior to 9/11. But Timothy McVeigh was upset, and he had a lot of activities that he did prior to the bombing that was very suspicious, and people were suspicious of him, but they went ahead and sold him products that he was still able to make the bomb, where had they just, took a minute and been like, okay, probably need to report this guy and turn it over to law enforcement, maybe that would have deterred or prevented that attack from happening.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, people taking flying lessons and not worrying about the landing portion.
Exactly.
That's what I heard about them. It's like, they weren't really interested in learning how to land. It's like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
You might want to watch that.
Big question that comes up with that. Yeah, absolutely.
And going back to Timothy McVeigh issue, hints to where Mark was talking about earlier about standoff. So that's what initiated standoff from federal buildings to keep that explosive from going off.
Yeah, the big cement pillars out there.
The bollards and pillars and Cobart towers were the same instance.
Yes, I was there on that one.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was there one year prior to that one going up, and the first thing I noticed was that the only thing that separated the complex, the Cobar Towers, from nothing was a chain link fence right there. Maybe not even, it was like a street away. It was on the other side of the street. It's like the first thing I thought was, man, somebody can walk up and throw a grenade right over the fence. And then 1 year later, I'm watching the TV going like, ooh, because I was like one building away from mine that I was in.
Pull up a tanker. Yep.
Yeah, it was the first time that I realized it's like, oh wait, I'm not that safe. I'm not as safe as I thought I was in the Air Force.
Something that goes along with AT, with anti-terrorism, is OPSEC. So, most of our adversaries use open source intel, which is really everything we put online. So everybody can't wait to put everything online nowadays.
Yeah, our whole life is on social media.
Everything's on social media. And so one of the things we're supposed to do as government employees is do an OPSEC review before we post anything online. We do, I would say, about 50% of what we're supposed to do when it comes to OPSEC. And I would just be very cautious and remind everybody to, look at your pictures, turn your geolocator off on your phone when you take those pictures and when you put them in, because they have hidden data inside there that tell you when you make your storyboards, when you post something online. I know you guys do that very well in PAO, or you make sure that stuff's out there before you post it. But all those, all that unclassified info helps the enemy or an adversary build a picture and collect info. Open source intel is just that, it is intel, and it helps them develop a picture of a target they're trying to put together info on to attack a target. So
yeah,
it's very effective.
Some of the easiest thing to, or a really great example, or at least in my opinion, a great example of open source intel on something that we're not supposed to know about is Area 51. Out in Nevada, anyone can look it up on Google Maps, and you can see this air base that they denied existed forever. And it's like, well, open source, now we know.
It's amazing things you can find out on open source intel.
Yeah.
And so, we like to put everything online, and you can find out a lot of good stuff, but that could help a potential adversary do some harm. So I think it's very important we pay attention to our OPSEC rules and abide by those when we do that, because we're only helping the enemy if we don't.
Yeah, I can see the OPSEC. See, well, we all go through all of the training every year, and we have to update and stuff. And the OPSEC, I take away a lot of stuff from the OPSEC, like when you're traveling, which rooms to get in a hotel, and what floor not to go above, and what floor not to be on, and it's some of the most simplest things. Somebody can watch you go to work every day, and they can figure out exactly where you'll be at exactly what time. And if they want to take advantage of that, then, so the easiest way to do it is just change up your routine every once in a while, and throw a little monkey wrench into their thing.
Yeah, they follow your pattern of life.
Yeah.
And just to chime in a little bit on what Mark was saying, maybe we do a little bit better job on official websites and official social media for like Fort Johnson. But again, it's like everyone's responsibility that we've been talking about. So it might seem pretty unimportant information that maybe a spouse or someone else puts on social media of like time that someone's deploying their husband or their wife, and or what time they're getting back, or maybe saying, hey, it's the whole battalion, or, numbers and stuff as well. It might not seem like a whole lot, but as they get more and more information, they kind of paint that picture that Mark was talking about, and now they kind of see the whole picture and timelines and how many people and where they're going to be, and locations and stuff, and then that becomes very targetable information for the adversary.
The other thing that I noticed that I noticed all the good practices that we do around here, like especially the security guards and the gate guards around here. The simple random car search, or the random search
inspection,
or the random inspection, that alone has more people on edge, or has more people on their toes, saying, you know what, I'm not gonna go through the gate. I'm not gonna try something like here, because I don't know if I'm going to get inspected or not. So, I mean, randomness is very helpful, in my opinion. Is that part of the anti-terrorism training?
Yes, that's also part of the random inspections that we do. Matter of fact, I'm part of that. I generate a number for the day for that month, and it's random. So on each day, there's a different number. So we try and make that Fort Johnson the hard target, instead of being that soft target. So because you don't know what number of the day it is or when you're going to get inspected.
Nope,
So,
you just know when they start waving you over to the other lane. It's like, no, you go over there. It's like, man,
So
I was in a hurry.
it works.
Yeah, it does.
That makes it a lot harder to plan if it seems very random and the adversary's out there watching. If it's like, okay, well, it happened this many times or it occurred, hey, they're checking, blue vehicles or whatever the case is, and they were doing it on this. Well, now they're checking this. It makes it harder to plan and actually plan out an attack.
Yeah, and if they're doing 100%, then we're in trouble.
And we've got
We'll be complaining because get through.
Yeah.
and we've got other random measures here on the installation as well. Some headquarters you'll walk in and they'll be doing, they'll be inspecting random numbers of personnel that walk in headquarters, and then the AT team's got a great force protection condition elevation drill they'll do ever so often when random MIVAs or high risk target areas will be a unit will be alerted, and they won't know it. They'll be told that morning. They'll be guarding a MIVA.
Well,
To exercise that, right? So
we do that here at PAO too. Did you guys get inspected when you came in? No, you lucked out. Yeah, you lucked out.
We lucked out.
See, we must have been the people right before you.
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
So what? I see you've got some lanyards here. What we got? Get some lanyards.
Yes, those are going to be some giveaways that we give away when we're going out to do our outreach to the community.
You see that?
Outreach to the community to as a giveaway. So we'll be out at in the PX and the commissaries this month. I think the 15th.
Yes, the 15th we'll be at the commissary and the 29th we'll be at the PX. So we'll be handing out some good information on, further ways of protecting yourself and protecting the unit, and also have some freebies there too. So don't avoid us. We'll give you some free swag.
Yeah, you're not the people to avoid. It's the
Right. And then we will also have more help from PAO. We'll be going out to local radio stations too next Monday, August 12th. Listen for us around noon, lunchtime, and we'll be on local radio.
local radio, best radio around,
Anti-terrorism is 24/7, 365.
and it's up to everyone.
Up to everybody's job, 24/7, 365 days a year. Helping keep our community safe. The people are our sensors, and we need your help.
Hey, Mitchell, Mark, Adam, I appreciate all of you coming in and spending some time with us over here at Public Affairs. And we hope you guys will continue to watch and tune in. Please hit that subscribe button, that notification button. And if you have any comments or anything, please list them in the section below and give us an idea of what you'd like to see on the Fort Johnson podcast. I'm Jeff England from the Public Affairs Office, and we will be watching and listening at you later.
That was easy.